Okay, gentlemen, here we go. Panels part 3. This is a review. Now, to a typical house, residential house, the service is going to be 2 voltages. You're going to have 120, 240. You're going to have, this is like a service drop, what the utility company would use right here. And so you're going to have 120 here, 120 here, 120 between here and the neutral, 120 between this one and the neutral, and between them, you're going to have 240. So the 2 voltages to a house is going to be 120, 240. Okay, that's typical. Yeah, I guess there's some oddball stuff somewhere, but we're just talking 99% of your houses, that's what it's going to be. So yep. Yeah, I like this better. Okay, so again, you guys are going to watch these videos. You can't do it right now because I'm doing it live. Coming to you live from HCHS. But if you're going to watch the videos, put it on double speed because that way you can go through it a lot faster. Oh, the voltage is 120, 240. All right. Now, the utility company can feed these a service only from 2 ways. Going to be overhead, where you have a conduit goes up, out of the top here. Move this further back. We come up out of the top, or it will come up underground through the bottom. So basically, the 2 ways you can feed a service panel is overhead and underground. The power comes, a conduit comes underground with the wires in it, turns up, comes into the bottom, or it goes up overhead through the roof of the house and has wires that go over to a utility pole. So now you have they bring a neutral and 2 hots in here, and then you have to drive a ground rod, and you bring a ground wire up. Now, according to NECA, your ground wire and your neutral can only be hooked together. At your main service. Trying to adjust this camera a little bit. There we go. Can only be hooked together at your main service, period. It can't be hooked together anywhere else. All your sub panels further down the line, your neutral and your ground have separate ground buses. They cannot hook together. But this is the only place where they have to hook together, because that establishes a ground point on the neutral. So like everything's 0 at that point. If you run the neutral out there and you hook it to a ground, then you're liable to get current running on your ground and your neutral, because that neutral will carry the unbalanced load. But then if it's in parallel with a ground wire, it's going to split 50-50. They don't want that. The code doesn't want any power running on that ground unless there's a short to ground, and then it trips the breaker. So the only place your ground and neutral can hook together is at the main service. Now, in the main service, you're going to have 3 kinds of bus bars. You're going to have your neutral and your ground bus bar, which are the same bus bars, okay? And which is all these bus bars right here. There's your neutral and ground bus bar right there, all right? And then you're going to have an A phase and a B phase. And that is an A phase and a B phase, and your neutral. And your neutral and your ground go together. Ground goes in the ground. So A phase, B phase, neutral. A phase bus bar, B phase bus bar, okay? And your neutral bus bar, and your ground, your neutral and your ground. Now, when you get in the sub panel, this was a little sub panel here, you were going to have a phase bus bar, a B phase bus bar, a neutral bus bar, and a ground bus bar. So there'll be 4 bus bars in the sub panel. The main service should be only 3. You might find a ground one in there sometimes, but it doesn't matter because the ground and the neutral are all the same potential point or point of potential, whatever you want to call it. Everything's zeroed out right there. So the neutral and the ground can hook together at the service, but not in a sub panel right here. So you can see the neutral bar is separate from the ground bus over here. So those are your buses that you have in a sub panel and the buses you have in a main service. Now, in a typical house service, your voltage from phase A to phase B, or phase A to phase B, is going to be 240 volts. All right. From phase A to the neutral or phase B to the neutral is going to be 120. So from here to here will be 120. From here to here will be 120. Same thing with here, because all this is a utility company. It transfers over into here through these bus bars. So from phase, your bus bar A is going to, from there to there is going to be 120. From this bus bar to there is going to be 120. But from this bus bar to this bus bar, this bus bar to this bus bar is going to be 240 volts. So you guys don't need to see my face. We better off to see the panel. Now, when getting a service, it doesn't matter if you're putting a service inside, but most services go outside, so the utility company has access to them. So the main thing is, if you're going to use a panel outside, it needs to be weatherproof. It needs to have that little lipper on there. Has to be weatherproof. They call it weatherproof, so it can be rained on, or sprinklers can shoot on it, or fog, or snow, or whatever, because you don't want water obviously getting in your panel. So if a panel is used outdoors, a main service panel, which 99% of them are, has to be weatherproof. All right. Now, you do have a breaker in here. This is your main breaker. If you notice, it has, get up here a little closer for you. You notice it has 2 handles where this one here only has one. Okay, this is a single pole breaker. If you have a double like this is a 2-pole breaker. It has 2 poles. And you notice if I operate one switch, it operates the other one. So this is a 2-pole breaker. And this is what all of your services are going to have this, because your house is fed with 120, 120, and both of these together are going to be 240. So from this screw to the neutral bus, 120. This screw to the neutral bus, 120. A phase, B phase. You go from A phase to B phase, if you take a measure, a meter measure from there to there, it's going to be 240. So, all right, there's your review for your panel. I cannot think of anything else you need to know. So, you guys have a good day. Get your stuff done, get all caught up so I don't have to go back and do stuff later. All right. All right. Peace out.